Let's talk about the tools we trust with our company's biggest secrets. I'm talking about password managers and biometrics. They're right at the heart of our corporate security. But what if those very tools, the ones designed to protect us, are actually creating a single massive vulnerability? In this explainer, we're going to unpack that paradox and figure out what it really means for your organization's safety.
So here's our game plan. We'll start with the core problem, this password paradox. Then we'll look at how convenience can actually be a trap. We'll dive into a real-world case where a digital fortress came crashing down, uncover some of the hidden flaws in the tech we rely on, and then, most importantly, we'll map out a smarter security strategy you can actually use.
All right, let's kick things off with a problem that everyone, and I mean everyone in your organization, from the C-suite to the front lines, knows all too well.
Just take a second and actually think about that number. It's not a couple dozen, right? Across your entire company, you're likely talking thousands, maybe even tens of thousands of passwords. This is the huge, invisible battle your IT and security teams are fighting every single day.
And to deal with all that chaos, we were handed what seemed like a silver bullet. You know, these two powerful solutions that were supposed to end the password nightmare once and for all. But this is where things get tricky. That convenience, it can come with a pretty steep price. So let's pull back the curtain on the marketing hype and look at the risks that are hiding just underneath the surface.
You see, this is the great illusion of a passwordless future. Biometrics, a fingerprint or a face scan, they feel so secure and futuristic, but in a lot of cases, they're just a fancy new lock on a very old, very weak door. The password is still there, lurking in the background, stored on the device, and believe me, it can be bypassed.
And this right here is the paradox of the password manager. We think of it as a vault, but it's really a digital skeleton key. Instead of an attacker having to pick hundreds of different locks, now they only have to focus on one. And if they get through, they don't just get into one office. They get the keys to the entire building.
This quote just nails the long-term danger with biometrics. Think about it. When a password gets breached, you change it. Yeah, it's a pain, but you move on. But what happens when a biometric marker, like your fingerprint data, gets stolen from some database? You can't just get a new one. That compromise is forever.
Now, this isn't just some theory I'm talking about. Let's look at a real-world disaster where this exact scenario played out, and the consequences were, well, devastating.
What you're seeing here isn't just one bad day. It's a pattern. A history of smaller security stumbles and near misses that led up to the catastrophic breach in 2022. It's a huge reminder that when it comes to cybersecurity, a vendor's track record really, really matters.
So what did the bad guys actually get away with? It wasn't just the encrypted password vaults. Oh no, they also grabbed a ton of unencrypted data, like the URLs, the website addresses your employees were using. For a hacker, that is a goldmine. Now they know exactly where your people have accounts, which makes launching super-targeted phishing attacks incredibly easy.
The LastPass breach wasn't just a one-off failure. It ripped the cover off a fundamental design flaw in how a lot of these password managers are built. And what top researchers are finding now is that this isn't a LastPass problem, it's an industry problem.
This statement is an absolute bombshell. The entire selling point of zero-knowledge encryption is that even if a hacker breaks into the company's servers, your data is safe because the company itself can't read it. Well, these researchers just proved that's not always true. If the server gets popped, your data is at risk, period.
So how is that even possible? Well, researchers think about two main types of attackers. The first is a network adversary who can only watch the scrambled data flying across the internet. But the second one, the eavesdropper, is way more dangerous. This is someone who's already inside the server. They have direct access and they can do a whole lot more than just watch.
Okay, this chart looks a bit technical, but the idea is actually pretty simple. What researchers found is that hackers can exploit totally harmless-looking features, like a vault health check or even just fetching those little website icons, to trick the password manager into spilling your data. It's like a magician using misdirection to pick your pocket. And as you can see from the list, this affects some of the biggest names in the game.
And the threat isn't just on the server side. It's right there in your employees' web browsers. It's called clickjacking. A hacker can slap an invisible login form on top of something totally benign, like a cookie consent button. Your employee thinks they're just clicking accept, but their password manager, trying to be helpful, autofills their login details straight into the attacker's hands. Suddenly, convenience becomes a weapon against you.
Okay, so what's the answer? Am I saying you should ditch all these tools? No, not at all.
The key is to be smarter. It's about building a layered defense that actually understands and prepares for their weaknesses.
Now, this is not an advertisement for any one product. Think of it as a cheat sheet for asking the right questions. When you're evaluating a password manager, you have to look past the flashy marketing. Dig into their security architecture. Ask them, do you encrypt metadata? Do you use things like two-key derivation? Because not all security models are created equal, and you absolutely need to know the difference.
So let's bring this all home. Here is a simple 3-pillar strategy to better protect your company. 1. Vet your vendors. I mean, really vet them. Don't just take their word for it. Demand to see the blueprints of their security. 2. Mandate multi-factor authentication. This has to be a non-negotiable baseline. It's the single best way to stop an attacker dead in their tracks. And 3. Train your people. They are your human firewall, and they need to know how to spot and avoid these sneaky threats like clickjacking.
So, I'll leave you with this one question to take back to your teams. It's time to look past the promises of easy convenience and really get honest about the risks. So ask yourselves, is the tool you bought to be your biggest security solution actually your biggest liability?